Hi, and welcome back to Winning the Divine Lottery. Make sure you listen to today because I am talking about the one thing that has helped me the most throughout my spiritual and personal development journey, and that is meditation. And I actually am going to talk about the specific form of meditation. So stay tuned if you want to increase your meditation practice, invite in more peace, joy, and loving yourself back to life. Welcome to Winning the Divine Lottery. I'm your host, Amy Dawes. All right, as I always say, welcome if you're new to this podcast, Winning the Divine Lottery. It grows and evolves every week, every day of my life. This idea that our life is a lottery we've already won, and it's about removing the veil, so to speak, to be able to uncover everything that's already here for us and to be able to claim it as if it's our sole inheritance, as if we came into this lifetime for a reason and a purpose to become us exactly as we are, to recognize this gift of life that we all have. And one of the things that have helped me do that is meditation. And I really want to talk to you about what meditation has given me and what I do believe it can give everybody. Now, I'm going to start off with a quote by Dr. Joe Dispenza. There is no such thing as a bad meditation. Even for me, being an avid meditator for over a decade, I still have thoughts of, oh, that wasn't really the best meditation. But really that's just the ego that comes into play. So the meditation style, I don't know if you want to call it a technique or form. There's so many different ways you can meditate, but the one that has the most impact on my life is sitting in silence, sitting in stillness with no distractions, with no music, no guidance, no nothing, and giving myself time and space just to close my eyes and be with myself. When I do this, and when we do this, I'm going to invite you to do this, to start this practice, even if it's 5 minutes a day. What happens is immediately you get to know yourself. And the whole root of everything that we come here to be and experience and explore really comes down to this one idea or concept of know thyself. And the surefire way to do that is to sit with yourself. What happens when you do this is every pattern, every thought, every limitation, every perspective of you on the inside is going to start playing out when you're sitting still in silence with yourself. And the reason why is because you're not doing anything. You're not in any perpetual, habitual regime in your day. You're telling your body, we're going to sit still, and you're closing your eyes and you're just paying attention to everything that happens internally. And when you get to do this, you get to know thyself very, very quickly. And I'm just going to share what happens for me on most occasions is the first little while, it's loud. I hear the thoughts. I hear the patterns. I hear the story of Amy. I hear the personality. I hear all the knowns on how my identity as Amy is attached to people, places, circumstances, and how this all has played out in my life. There's a pattern of problem solving that shows up. There's a pattern of worry, sometimes fear, depending on what I'm experiencing in my life. But usually the first little bit, that is noisy. It's like the dial is turned up on that. And the whole purpose of getting to be with yourself when all of this is happening is to understand that that's not really you. That's the play. That's the role of you that you've identified with that believes that's the truth. However, it's not. It's not. These are really, if you think of a tapestry, they're just patterns that have been woven together to create a certain image, and this image gives you a certain feeling and a familiarity to you and your environment. Another way of looking at it is it's like all the layers on a painting. And as you stare at this painting, what starts to happen is you start to see behind the layers of paint. You start to see, oh, I didn't realize that was there that created that layer. And this is actually so incredibly normal when we meditate. Now, does this change over time? Yes, and and no. Depending, and I'm only speaking personally from experience, depending on what is happening and how I'm being influenced still by my environment depends on the level of noise. Sometimes there's no noise. I get to the place where I can just sit and close my eyes and I'm just immediately in the silence and the stillness. Other days it goes back. So it's a dance. What I'm trying to share and really invite you into experiencing, just like life, it's a dance. Some days it's so fluid and it's so easy and effortless. And other days it feels a little bit more resistance, a little bit more like you're climbing a hill or trying to stop a car from rolling down the hill. Whatever the process is, I just want you to know that when you start to sit with yourself in silence with no distractions, it's an invitation to get to know you, how everything inside of you operates, and how you identify with your environment, the things, the people, and the places, how you perceive, how you judge, what triggers fear in you, what triggers you to go back into the survival. And this time and space is not a place to analyze, to justify, or to figure out. This is a time and space just to be with it all. Just give yourself permission to be and get to this place of observation where you're just observing all this sort of happening, like you're watching a movie happening and you get less and less triggered by it every once in a while. What can happen is because you're so identified with a pattern of thought that you go with the thought. You'll actually start to feel like your presence go away from like your body and this moment now, and it will go. It will like follow the thought. It's almost like if the thought had you on a leash, like you were a dog, you would just like that's your master and you would follow that. The good news is when you catch yourself doing that, you just go, oh, interesting. You have that awareness, and guess what? You bring yourself back to the present moment, and you bring it back to the present moment. Sometimes it's just a matter of shifting it back to your breath. You're experiencing your breath, you're listening to your breath. It could be that you just experience the sensations in your body, or you bring your awareness back into your heart. And the more you do this, what happens is you create more pockets of spaciousness, this stillness, the silence, this space of where there's only you. And I don't mean you as all those thoughts and those things that are playing on the movie screen, but there's only you, the truth of you now in this moment. There's only oneness. There's only wholeness. There's only your presence in this moment. You're no longer engaging and interacting and being lured in by all the stuff that's happening on the movie screen. And what happens when you become the space and you become the silence is There's so much energy and information here for you. And you aren't your stories anymore. You aren't what's happening to you. You aren't your bank account. You aren't the fight that you had with your spouse yesterday. You aren't any of those things. Those things just sort of they dissolve. They soften in the background. And you're just in this space, in the silence, in this void of nothingness. And when you're here, you start to feel things like what we would call peace. There's a sense of joy. There's a sense of liberation and freedom. And what happens when you linger in these spaces, and every once in a while, you can still get pulled into an idea of who you are because maybe your mind gets distracted and goes to, oh my gosh, how long I've been sitting here. I got things to do. Or I need to figure out what to cook for my kids for supper. There's just, this is part of the play of sitting with yourself and getting to know thyself. But these pockets that show up, they get more tangible, they get more spacious, they happen more often. And in these spaces is where the unknown is. It's where you begin to then channel information from the field, this field of infinite potential. It's when things can download and just drop in, and you'll get an inspired intuitive nudge or an idea that could actually like change the trajectory of your life. Um, you will feel usually somatically in your body the energy and the frequency of something that is more aligned for you in your life. What do I mean by that? So let's say you're dealing with some problems and you've been dealing with them for quite a while, and you get into this space because you're not thinking about your problems anymore, right? They don't even exist in this moment, in this present moment. So, what can happen is you open yourself up to this infinite field of information and potential is you'll receive. You'll receive something new that's in more alignment that will take you from where you are currently consciously aware of your problems into like the solution of them. And it will be effortless and easy. And then it's up to you, obviously, to do something about that, do something with that information. Absolutely. Um, I just invite you to try this. I'm not here to convince you that this works. I really am here to share with you what's helped me in my life, bring me back to a state of feeling at peace with myself and at peace with my life. And some days are harder than others. But if I were to look back at my life and pick the one thing that has helped me the most, it is meditation. It is meditation. And it's free and you can do it anywhere. All you need is a place to sit, and all you have to do is close your eyes. And from there, all you have to do is breathe and know that when you get to look within you and the noise starts to show up, to know that that's just what's loudest in your life right now. It's like that's the radio station that you're tuned into, and it's quite loud. And eventually, when you start to just witness it and observe it and not engage with it as much, not follow it as much, the dial starts to turn down, the volume starts to turn down. And then the volume of space and silence starts to turn up. And believe it or not, even though it's space and silence, it can get very, very loud. But the loud that I'm talking about is like ginormous. It's fulfilling. It's generous. It's filled with so much information and frequency that is here to serve you. It's incredible, and I just want you to try it on and try it out. I'm not guaranteeing that the first time you do this, that you're going to have this experience, or the second, or the third. But if you choose to continue to give yourself time to know thyself, and to know thyself really is what you are beyond all the noise, because you are not truly that. What you are beyond the noise is a piece of the divine. And the divine loves you so incredibly much. And when you can look at it like this is a sacred time for you to sit with the divine and have a great conversation with it, you will feel a level of love that you've never felt before. And there's no limit to this love. This love has no limit. So there will be more times for you to experience this love, and you'll feel like it's more because it feels even bigger than the love that you felt before. But it's not that it's more, it's that it's unlimited. There is no end to it. There is no end to this love, and you have access to it, and it's been with you your whole entire life. It's right here in your heart. It's as simple as sitting and closing your eyes. What I want to say is, but it takes great courage. It actually takes great courage to be consistent with sitting with yourself, because the ego mind is always doing. It's always needing to get things done. And it thinks that through physical effort, this is the way, this is the only way to get things done. And so when you start to sit, it might kick up a little bit of a fuss because it's not used to this. But just like you can train a dog to follow you, you can train your body and your mind to follow something new and to follow the source within you, to follow the divinity within you, to follow your soul instead of your personality. And then the roles are switched. It's like your personality now starts to follow your soul because it knows how good life is when it does that. It's like, oh my gosh, I thought I've been here on this earth doing this all alone, and I've had to push myself through everything and effort myself through everything. And now I know that I am being led by something greater, something that knows me inside and out, something that loves me and wants actually what I want and knows how to get it and knows how to bring it to me and knows how to bring me into the right places, the right people, and the right circumstances. So when you get to know thyself, you know that that's the truth of you. And you start to carve time and space to connect with the truth of you, because that is more productive than the old way. It's more loving than the old way. And now your personality begins to see that and begins to understand that. And it allows to let love in and follow that and serve that. And when you're serving that and you're following that, the action you take changes. It's from a place of, I am so loved. I am so abundant. I am so worthy. I lack nothing. Look what's leading me. I lack nothing. And so the creation process becomes one of clarity. You realize that you're here to co-create with your own soul, to serve your soul, to co-create with spirit and the divinity within you. To create from this place is to give back and to give life. And the word lack isn't even in that equation because it doesn't exist there. It's only generous, it's only abundant, it's only pure love. So I encourage you, if this spoke to you at all, imagine what could be possible by you carving out this time devoted to getting to know thyself. I would love to know your results, your challenges, how many times you come up against yourself, and then how many times you drop in. You drop into that source, you drop into that spaciousness, that silence that gets to be so incredibly loud that it sweeps you off of your feet, literally, into this frequency of love that is infinite. It has no end. And of course, if you feel that this episode could help anybody that you love in your life, please share it with them. If you're feeling extra generous, leave me a 5-star review on Apple. It's the way of the world right now. This algorithm help me help more people. I love you. We'll see you soon.